Today was a bit of an interesting day. I don't think I was right at all on my AMDX XAMD cycles. I really am just not liking how price is moving. You can see if I bring ES over, look at the difference. Very, very different. So this is bullish structure, this is bearish structure, but there's also daily cycle SSMT at the bottom and on the top. Like, come on, bro, you can't be doing this to me. So let's just look at NQ for a second and go. Yeah, let's start on the 15. So overnight range was essentially this open and basically looks like accumulation on the 15 minute. I was looking at this range from this high to previous day low because that is a tight range that we're selling in, and this was our discount sell side in that range. So from there, I was honestly looking at today as XAMD because the 5 minute, it looks like we expanded a range, accumulated. We're going to manipulate here. Manipulation in manipulation is what I saw, like what my foresight was. I wanted to see this manipulate and then generate sell side for us to go lower because we have previous day low, new daily opening gap that's untapped. That has been our draw on liquidity, but I guess not because we're just going to move higher. What I did look when I get off the charts before we get into the lower time frames was this daily for value gap. So we did close yesterday inside this bullish for value gap, and technically today is distribution day, but it's also an inside day. So we are trading inside the range of this candle, the entire candle. I think tomorrow we probably are going to expand to all-time highs. I mean, I'm just not seeing a reason not to unless this inverses, but right now candles are so big that we're trading inside ranges and we really need like a massive move on the daily and 4 hour, especially the daily, to really get a nice direction because even in the 4 hour we're respecting gaps. I need a daily higher time frame confirmation that we're going to move lower for shorts. Yes, I have been taking shorts. I think I took two this week, not this week but like two recently, and the rest has been longs because we've just been going up, going up, going up. So taking a short today, it makes sense that it didn't play out. So let's start on actually the 1 hour. Okay, like I said, the 4 hour, we have all these gaps. Yes, we're tapping into the range. I did mark this range right here because this is what we're trading in. The CE of that range is, come on, okay, right here. So from this, I was narrowing down where I wanted my short to be because we were trading into the premium. We created a daily cycle above the premium of the range. That is why I am expecting lower prices. So if we take off the noise, you can see this actually on YM was the highest high. YM is so sloppy, I'm just not even going to show it. So this was our highest high. ES as well. No, ES looked the same as NQ. So ES was the same as NQ. It was, I think this high was the highest, and my chart just froze on NQ. You can't see that, but well, I'm just gonna leave it for now. So after this daily cycle is in play, I'm lowering, and this 1 hour for value gap. This is actually very important because this 1 hour right here, you see this gap is unfilled. So there's a gap between that, and it's more visible on ES. So I was using this as my 1 hour bearish for value gap. I used the candle high of this because you could also use this to be more refined, but I decided to use this. You can see initially we were holding it, and from there, you can see, what time was that actually? That was like 6. So from there, we created our True New York. We did not mitigate it, and I actually do want to show ES now because this is where we get into our Kraken correlations. Okay, now we're moving lower. Right now we're getting some some synchronized movement. So from here, True New York, so you can see the 1 hour also got tapped into here, respected on ES, and then True New York here did, where is it? Right there. Did not get mitigated. So, I mean, technically, yes, right here, but that's just so quick and it's right after True New York was open, so that doesn't count. So from there, what I was looking for was just move down, move down. We had a very small new daily opening gap, so that could be used for an entry. I couldn't pair it with anything today. So from there, we're just going to look at open. So our cycles, XAMD is what I thought it was going to be because we had, obvious expansion off of open, and then we accumulated in that range. We're going to manipulate, and in this distribution, it looks like I actually might be right because we're starting distribution, that's our high, and we're getting into the daily distribution, and now we're really starting to drop and align. So I do think that shorts are on the table, but it was just later in the day, right? This is 12, this is lunch reversal, essentially. So now we have our two PO3s that I watched and did not trade the first one. I'll tell you why. This discounted low, I honestly did not have it charted. I did not have it charted. I don't know why. This was a clear discount low, and like this one purchased liquidity, so I would 100% use this as a discount entry, or sorry, discount low for a liquidity sweep. And our PO3, True Microcycle Open, here we have our 1 hour correlated with our 15 right here. We're holding in this. So I shorted this 15 minute, essentially having a stop at CE of this was my valid stop, and we just completely ran through it. So this move is what I expected. This kind of structure is what I expected to hold on the 15 minute. And you can see on this 15 minute, we did hold that. And so that's what I was looking at, something like that. And that's why I had this CE as my stop, because it should not come there if we are dropping lower. So that is like this right here. We had basically 30 minutes before we started dropping. So it's sloppy. It's not moving too quickly. It's waiting for the right time, and the morning just was not the right time for it. So from that 15 minute, I narrowed it down. We're going into the 5 minute, and I see this 5 minute gap right here. This gap inversion was the confirmation, and it wasn't until basically right here, 10:15, because this could 100% retap this 5 minute and then come down. But it wasn't until 10:15 where we actually started to make a shifted structure, and our 10 a.m. PO3 was turning out to be initially bullish. So off of that, I went to the 2 minutes, and I saw this is our first presented for value gap. Our 90-minute cycles are X expansion, accumulation, because this is an obvious accumulation, manipulation to our discount sell side liquidity, and then distribution happened. Let's go to the 1 minute, and then we can see our microcycles. Let's actually mark these, because I did not mark these. That might have been part of the reason why I took a loss today, because I did not have all my charting up and ready. Accumulation, okay. So this is definitely expansion. So our manipulation is obviously right here, so that means we start with accumulation. I'm not going to put all these down just to save time. So we accumulate right here, obvious, true microcycle open, into the 15 minute. We're expecting, I'm going to say order flow, but it's basically gaps. We're expecting gaps. I technically say that's order flow because it's the way the market's flowing. We respect structure, market structure, order flow, kind of the same thing. You're just not using the actual, what is it called? I don't even remember. You're not using like liquidity zones, and we're not we're not trading order flow. So this first presented for value gap had a microcycle at the bottom, meaning we swept. Come on, reload. Come on, ES, get a grip. Get a grip, son. Right, we swept right here. This is our microcycle SSMT. With ES especially, that is powerful. So we had this re-tapped into our first presented. When that happened, that was complete valid entry. We also had a slight sweep of that. Great entry. If you had that, stop would have been right there to limit risk, because on the 15-second, you definitely have exactly right. It's balanced price range. I don't even have to go to the 15-second, but we will. And it's not over there. Right, we have balanced price range all the way up until here. So stop could have been lowered. I would do, yeah, exactly right there. So 26 points. If you got filled kind of late, then it would be closer to like 30, 35 points. So that would have been the long for the PO3. The reason why I didn't take it was because I didn't want to take an internal move, but basically to where 10 a.m. could open. And what my trade was going to be was the short off of 10 a.m. open. I thought that 10 a.m. just made that wick, and that was going to be the wick, because distribution, I'm expecting like aggressive moves down. So let me show you where I went wrong. So first, we're going to show the full chart. Bring the new daily opening gap, because that is also a small new daily opening gaps. Like I mentioned in one of the video, one of the first two videos. If it's a narrow gap and it's something like a new daily opening gap, new weekly opening gap, and regular trading hours, new daily opening gap, then I definitely use it for executions because regular trading hours cannot be neglected. A lot of people just don't use it, but they're like the biggest gaps in the market. And so the reason why you wouldn't use it is beyond me. Like IZT says to use it in a lot of his videos, and I don't know why people just don't use it. So first presented, respected. There's your first entry. You could have taken that to our True New York, to True Day Open, to basically our 90-minute microcycle high. We didn't quite make it to the DC, which is why I'm still bearish because it's still in play and structures aligning, like I said, with ES and EQ. So come 10 a.m., we had this open. We had a PSP right here. I'm going to show ES so we can see exactly right here. This high was a bullish candle, and this high was a bullish candle, but we had our high over here. So I, to be honest, I might need to review my PSPs because this was more of a TPD, to be honest. So TPD, PSP, so the middle candle was not a different color. So it is a TPD. I'm just going to delete that. TPD, 10 a.m. opened, and what I'm looking at is gaps to tap into. So I entered here. Wait 1 second. I'm going to put up my executions. Entering here. Terrible. In the new daily opening gap, basically the bottom. My ideal entry was going to be there. I did not wait for the 2-minute tap. I thought, like I said, it was going to run. So that 2-minute tap, if I would have waited, my stop would have been 25 points, would have easily been in 5 cons like I was today. But I ended up getting exited right there, and my stop was much bigger than I wanted it to be. Right there, 40-point stop is what it was. So not even like 100 points of profit, and then it was just negative. It was bad. So off of this 10 a.m. range, we're going to draw our optimal trade entry. And something that I'm starting to realize is I usually don't see 10 a.m. become a continuation of our 30-minute. But if it is, then I do want to use the optimal trade entry to know how, or like until when is our price balanced. So you can see here, microcycle, this is considered balanced. This low is protected, right? Because this is where we swept. So this is the lowest low, which at this time it would be right here. So we can narrow our protected stop to right here. I'll just put this as a protected stop. Protected stop loss. From there, we're going on the 5-minute. We have a 5-minute inversion. This is if we're bullish. Okay, so I'm going to also put in CE of that 5-minute gap. 15-minute, still rejecting it. So like I said, until 10:15, I was bullish, and I basically got stopped out at there. So I did mention that I could have exited early when this was happening, but I didn't. And the reason for that was just because I was confident. I didn't see a way in which I was wrong, which is is very ego driven. And I didn't save any money on that exit. I, in fact, increased my stop a little bit because I thought I was still right and I would allow for a little bit of room. But off of this, 50% is balanced. We go to the 1-minute. Even the 30-second, I'm going to bet is balanced. Yep, it is balanced up until... well, basically, by this time, it's balanced. So, shorted here. This would be a protected stop because the 30-second is balanced. This discount of the range is balanced, so there's no reason for it to come down even to here. Now that this 30-second is protected, what I'm looking for, if I was going to be long, would be a retrace right into the range. So this 2-minute getting re-tapped into was perfect. And in fact, it was a 3-minute on, it was right there, this 3-minute gap. I'm just going to move this 2-minute. So this 3-minute gap was tapped on ES. It was very, very, very slight. And I'm not even going to show it because it's just going to waste time. So this tap on ES, it was so slight, I just didn't think anything of it. And so from that reaction, it just immediately stopped me out, and I knew that it was going to be a bullish 10 a.m. PO3. And I had no clue where the target was going to be because we could go up here, we can go up even higher. I just didn't know from there. So, exited there. I'm going to start using the optimal trade entry to read the 30 minutes. So, if we do get continuation on the 10 a.m., like right from open, I want to be right. Because if I use my fib trace for shorts, I will go to the 30-second chart. This is all balanced. Like I said, I thought that our 4-hour candle wick was going to be, I'll show it only this alone. That I thought that was going to be it. And so from there up is completely balanced price range. So there technically is no reason, right? We have our swing divergence, TPD. So there is no reason that I should hold a stop past our 10 a.m. candle high. And I exited right there. So my stop loss should have been possibly right here. And that would have stopped me out for much less points, closer to 30. So I did take a $400 loss. I was looking to exit when it was, coming down here and trying to get a discount exit, but I just decided to hold it because doing that kind of exit, I've been right by 5 points. And if I would have closed, I would have missed out on 150, 120. So I just decided to hold it. It was my trade. I was just going to hold it. And ended up being wrong, sadly. So my next trade after that was definitely an emotional decision. So after this inversed, we're going along. Look at that perfect rebalance of the 2-minute. 5-minute, we're shifting structure. 15-minute got inversed. From here, I could have reversed my position. I'm going to be completely honest. I could have reversed the position and had a stop in the new daily opening gap or somewhere in this 5-minute, but I just didn't want to put more risk on the table. So I waited. I was still looking for shorts. And then when we created an SSMT with our 90-minute microcycle high, and we did not take out the daily cycle and created an inversion on the 5-minute right here, or close to creating an inversion on the 5-minute. I was early, and so this was like, I'm showing you, this is a terrible trade, bro. Like, genuinely, I should not have even taken this. It was it was like a 5-point stop. So I entered here, my stop was the high of that candle. Like, ridiculous shit. So I lost that trade, obviously, and I ended up losing 2R on the day. This was 1.5R because I sized up. I do want to start risking, and like I said, bro, come on, we're starting to dump. This is the 4-hour PO3 I was looking for. Come on. Come on, son. Off this 15-minute too. We were just too early. We were just way too early, and it wasn't going to happen until it decided to. We also have FOMC at 2:30. So I don't know if that plays much of a... We had great movement all day, to be honest. Like, I'm just going to ignore this. So we were wrong on this trade. The full position that I was looking to take was... Ideally, it would have been here to previous day low. Because, like I said, distribution day, we get the biggest movements. 200 points. So having this stop, or having my entry here and my stop here, it's still 1 to 4. So I was completely fine holding that stop. And, getting stopped out, even losing a little bit over 1R, yeah, it hurt, but losing more than 2R, that's why I did size down and have a smaller stop for that. And in fact, on paper, bro, I'm actually annoyed about this. Look at this. On paper, what I was looking to do, essentially my trade was to the 15-minute. It was like the, whatever it is, the Blake model. 15-minute gap right here. Just make it easier to see. 15-minute gap right here. I wanted to short into that. Look at the bro. Come on. So after that, after this inversion for value gap, the 1-minute inversion, I was thinking that we're going to inverse the 5 and then come back lower. There was only the 90-minute SSMT, and so we didn't create any SMT on the microcycle. So I knew it was a gamble. I 100% knew it was a gamble, and that's why I sized down, and it was just a bad trade. But that was my paper execution, and that ended up being the 1 to 2 that I was thinking would make me break even on the day. And if I literally exited, or sorry, where's my entry? It was like right here in this candle, like I said, and I had a 5-point stop, something like that. It was stupid. Like, it was like 9 points or 7 points, something like that. But if I had my stop at the high, like a good boy, then I would have actually had a break even day. So that's annoying. But I mean, you can see the structure flipping 15 minutes, coming to get rebalanced, and we're just trading back into the range, and now we're dropping. So market maker model was very sloppy today. I mean, we went to 50%, swept all of our overnight lows, and I don't even know if it's that PM low. That's just the discount low. So we swept all that. We we edged the daily cycle. I thought we were actually going to move higher from that initially when this was moving like a rocket. And then we're just dumping all the way to, I'm not surprised if the previous day low gets hit today, especially with FOMC volatility. And we're in discount of the higher time frame range like we talked about of this range. We had our DC above that range. And after that sweep, we were respecting 1 hour and 15-minute structure. Like literally, look at that 1 hour close. It was, it looked good, but just didn't happen to play out. So that was our trade for the day. I did follow my model. Truthfully, I I definitely should have inversed there. I shouldn't have even looked for shorts. Like really after this PO3, usually 4 hour doesn't continue. So I was just kind of in awe that this didn't work out because I've taken the same trade and it's played out basically almost every time this month. So you live, you learn, and I lost 550 bucks today. So a little over 2 hour. I mean basically 2 hours since I'm upping my risk to 300 because I've been perfecting my model, getting better at being patient, taking the right trades, one trade a day, two trades today, and we ended up losing. So I don't want to lose any more than that. I'm definitely off for the day, waiting for tomorrow. And it just was not a very clear day except for this 30 minute. And if you held this 30 minute, then that would have been your entire AM trade. I mean, even if you got in somewhere here, hold to true day open, 100 plus points. So 1 to 3, if you could have definitely pyramid this as well right here and had a stop right there. So overall, decent movement. It just was not clear to me personally until I knew I was wrong. So a tough losing day, but I'm really not that butthurt about it. I'll wait for tomorrow, see if we can get a good trade because it's expansion day. And Friday, I don't know if I'll trade. We'll see. TGIF Friday, if we start just moving up again. But anyway, we got to get on with the rest of our day. So take care, everyone. I will see you in the next video, and we'll see if we win or not.